Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello to everybody in Whispering Wind. All good. Sonia Scrapbook. I'm trying to get my camera, because right here is my desktop or my laptop camera. I'm trying to get my Sony to work, and it was just working, and then something happened. Yes, Sonia. Thank you so much. I think I fixed it. Let's see. Might just have to run with the the laptop front-facing camera, because for some reason my camera is not working. But we shall see. We shall see. Whispering Wind, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Trying to do my best, first time streamer. I see why they have producers and all this other stuff, because all this other technical stuff while also streaming, it is a gift and a skill. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me all good? I'm gonna try one more thing with the camera. If the camera doesn't work, then we're just gonna go ahead and do 720p pee with my front-facing laptop camera. All right, thank you. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and go with my Surface Pro. All right, because you know what, the visual is not that bad. My Sony camera's better, but obviously my Sony camera's better, but hey, where'd he go? I'm right here. I was trying to get my Sony to work. I got a Sony A5100, but for some reason it stalled out. Yeah, thank you. So, I mean, you know what? Yes, I did hear about Oakland, and that's the second thing I want to talk about. This live stream is not going to be that long. I'm just going to talk about two topics. I really don't want to rant. I want to stick to the script. Ranting is good though. Ranting can be good when, you're making a point and you feel like you got the flow, you got the juice, and you feel like you're making connections. Sometimes rants are good. Tonight, I'm not in a ranting mood. So if I start ranting, just put rant in the comment section because, on the East Coast, it is 10:21. I was at the beach all day with my family, took the day off from work. So that's why. I don't know if I look darker. That's the reason why. All right, so I wanna get started with this. Thank you guys for being here. Jacob Blake filed an excessive force lawsuit. Now, the reason why I want to take some time to talk about this is because in America, people talk about white privilege, whiteness, male privilege, all this stuff, right? There is a certain type of privilege in the 21st century where you can be a person, an individual who has a warrant out for your arrest, you can resist cops, and you can have a weapon at the scene, and all of that equals you getting paid out potentially millions of dollars. Now that is the type of privilege that is in America. Everybody wants to focus on all these other privileges. Look at the privilege that Jacob Blake is about to experience. And I'm just going to say, I assume that he is going to be, he's going to be awarded. He's going to be awarded millions of dollars. I'm assuming. I hope not, because he doesn't deserve that. But at the end of the day, I'm like, man, this dude is he's gonna cash out. Because if you think about the political climate of the day, the political climate is set up in a way where if white shoots black, there's a problem automatically. And then we have to backtrack. It's like we go from concern, guilt. Like whenever you see the headline, black person, white officer, that's really a cue for a lot of people to start off with guilty. Let's figure out why there's a racist cop. And then we work backwards from there. All right. But as we're going to see, I want to jump into this article a little bit. All right. We need to ask, what's the end game? The end game in terms of this whole race stuff, it's all about power. It's about it's no longer just about wealth distribution. It is about power distribution, and it is about controlling the narrative. Because when you openly push propaganda, it is for power. That's the only reason why people push propaganda, is to take back power. And that is what some people in the black and brown communities are subscribing to, and in the white community. They are trying to take back power by filling people's eyes up and minds up with lies. You know, if you could convince enough people that all white people are racist, then you know what? The next generation just might believe it, and then the power is going to be in the people who have that lived experience. Like, for example, if I bought into this, all right, and let's take a quick example. Whispering Wind. All right, you're white from Colorado. I'm Hispanic from Tampa, Florida, right? So if I was going to bring up if I was going to give my opinion about oppression, all right, my opinion would be worth more weight than your opinion when it comes to cultural issues of police brutality and racism, because I am the right color. Therefore, I have more power to have a more true statement about what it is. What I'm trying to point out is this is all about power. That's it. People who are black and brown are trying to get more power. That's all it is. All right. We need to know when President Donald Trump is coming back for us. You know what? I honestly wouldn't. This is where I'm at with him running again. I don't think he is. I don't even know if he would want to. And the reason why I am, I don't know, is because every time I've heard him speak, it's been he hasn't shown enough interest for us to be like, oh, slam dunk. Like, think about it. At CPAC could have been the perfect place to make a statement. Yes, I'm running in 24. All right. But he didn't. Now, there's a couple reasons why I think that if he wants to keep it a secret, because if he keeps it a secret, then the media doesn't have 4 years of pushing propaganda in hopes to continue to brainwash people that he's going to run. All right. And then the other thing is, I think that he just might not want to run. I don't know. So anyways, looking at I was talking about them. Let's start a race war. Then what? Oh, I mean, there already is a race war. There already is a race war. I mean, people there, and the war is the narrative. That's the thing. The war is the narrative. So the battle is controlling the narrative. And then from that narrative, the people are able to control policy. The people are able to control things in the culture. People are able to sue for any reason. All right. People can claim discrimination for anything. All right. And that is the end. The end is, what do they get in the end? They get more power. Think of Ibram X. Kendi. If you haven't looked at who Ibram X. Kendi is, take some time to just research the man. Read his book. Some conservative people on YouTube will be like, oh, don't read the book, don't buy the book, don't aid in paying for the dude's already rich. So it's not like we're gonna get him more rich. I mean, he's already balling. But if you want to see what the end game is, it's giving power back to people who feel like they're powerless. And Ibram X. Kendi is part of that end game. He is controlling the narrative to where he can write a curriculum that will attempt to brainwash kindergartners. I mean, think about Ibram. I'll put it in the tell me if you're able to see this. Ibram X. Kendi. All right. Ibram X. Kendi. All lives matter. I don't care what color you are. I want the best for every human being. A safe place for everyone. I love everyone. Donna dies. Yes, that is something that we all believe. All right, but Ibram X. Kendi. Yes, I don't mind reading either. And I've been watching a lot of his videos and studying his stuff. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to be well equipped to know what is the narrative, what are they teaching, and to be clear, whenever there's a race issue talked about in the media, the fundamental root of it is critical race theory. It's critical race theory. All right, that is what is being shoved on a lot of people. If you think about the stories that I've covered in the past, and you know what's funny is I said in the beginning I don't want to rant, and I just started ranting, but it's all good. You know what? We're going for it. All right. If you look at the stories that I covered in the past, you'll see that there has been elementary schools that have tried to brainwash kids into thinking that all white people are racist. All right. That is the end game. They want to control people's thoughts, and they're going to do it even at the young age of 4, 5, and 6. And this is actually a true story. All right, look up the Buffalo school system, the Buffalo public school system. I did a video on this last month, I believe it was, and they're literally pushing racist propaganda to 4, 5, and 6-year-olds. So what is their end game? Their end game is to indoctrinate as many people as they can, because if they indoctrinate as many people as they can that speak the language, and you know what the language is: diversity, whiteness, systemic racism, all right, equality, all of that stuff, LGBTQ plus, 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 plus. If you speak that language and you're brought up to think that way, then when you look at the future politicians who are going to be Democrats who use that language, that's who you're going to vote for, because you recognize that the most. Oh, that politician said diversity. That politician said systemic racism. That politician said oppression. Well, I guess I'm voting for the Democrats, because you've been taught to think that since you were a child. So that is the end goal. The end goal is indoctrination, and through that indoctrination, it is a power shift, because what they perceive to be happening is all of the disparities, the so-called disparities, are because white people are in power and people like me are not. Okay, but you know, that's to answer your question, Whispering Wind. What is their end goal? In short, their end goal is power distribution. They want the power distribution to be for the Democrats, and they want the power distribution to be with Black and brown people. So jumping into the story, let me make sure. All right, so Jacob Blake, guys, I said this earlier. We live in such a great country that a person who had a sexual assault warrant, he had a weapon at the scene, and he was resisting police, he has a better opportunity to be a millionaire than me, you, or anybody you know. All right. So reading from the story. All right. Jacob Blake, the black man left paralyzed after being shot in the back by white police. So that is the propaganda that they want to frame this with automatically. Automatically, they go with what they want to. They want the story to be anchored with, which is race. Black man left paralyzed after being shot by a white police officer. He has filed a federal civil rights lawsuit alleging the use of excessive force. So like I said, this is the only country where you could be wrong, doing wrong, and still have an opportunity to get millions of dollars. And I'm not the one to, to feel bad for the outcome, because at the end of the day, he did things to where, what else did you think was going to happen? If you have a knife at the scene, do you not think the police are going to shoot you at some point? Anyways, that's what we're left with, as that is what the country has turned to. Kenosha police officer Rustin Shensky is the sole defendant named in the lawsuit, which was filed on Thursday in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Wisconsin. It says Blake suffered catastrophic permanent injuries as a direct result of Shensky's actions. Now, let's pause right there. As a direct result of Shensky's actions. This, in my opinion, is what is wrong with some parts of the black community. Not the whole community, some parts. They want to run with the victim narrative anytime they get. Just look at how this is framed. Blake suffered catastrophic, permanent injuries as a result of who? Not himself. In that, they could have easily talked about his resistance. They could have easily talked about the knife at the scene. They could have easily talked about the warrant. But no, none of those things matter, because his injuries are a direct result. I mean, you're reading this with me, as a direct result of Shensky's actions, and seeks an unspecified compensation, aka millions and millions of dollars. All right, the unspecified compensation is millions of dollars. And with that said, it's all part of the game. All right. Ben Crump knows what he's doing. Ben Crump is the person representing the Blake family. He's gonna collect a check. I really think that they are going to settle. They're going to settle for millions of dollars. Whispering Wind, CRT is short for critical race theory. All right, but at the end of the day, it's like, man, you're not going to accept responsibility for the fact that you had all of those three things working against you, and yet it is Shensky's fault that you have permanent injuries. All right, moving on with the article. Blake's legal team spans 3 law firms and includes high-profile civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who has worked with many families of the black victims of police violence, and most recently helped the family of George Floyd reach a $27 million civil settlement with the city of Minneapolis. Now, here again, he is not a victim. Michelle Jackson, hello. He is not a victim. Jacob Blake is not a victim. He had a knife at the scene. He resisted cops. He had a warrant out for his arrest. All right. He is not a victim. So you know that Ben Crump is going to cash out from this too, because he got that family $27 million. The attorneys, I was in one car accident in my life that I involved an attorney in, and off the bat, he said, if you weren't family, then I would get half. But since you're family, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go for like 25% of whatever the end amount is. And man, that was a $10,000 accident. Like that's how much we got from the losses, $10,000. I walked away with $5,000. Attorney walked away with $3,000, and then they paid everybody else out. So with that said, Crump is going to walk out a continued millionaire. And that's more of the privilege of being an American citizen, is you can cash out and you could be painted as a victim when indeed you're not a victim. All right, so moving on. Nothing can undo this tragedy or take away the sufferings endured by Jacob, his children, and the rest of the Blake family, Crump said, but hopefully today is a significant step in achieving the justice for them and holding Officer Shensky answerable for his nearly deadly decisions, actions that have deprived Jacob of his ability to walk. Now, of course, he has to frame it this way because in a lawsuit, there has to be damages. And they're going to run with the fact that Jacob Blake he's paralyzed because of Shensky. All right, so I want you guys to hear this for yourself, because the way that they frame this is completely trash. But I want you guys to hear for yourself that Jacob Blake says in his week interview with Michael Strahan that yes, I had a knife. All right, I had a knife, and I was just going to grab it.
I'm at work meeting right now, so I don't have time to shop for the perfect top.
All right, you know, he's talking about that he dropped the knife. He picked it up. He was going to put it in the car, and that's when he was going to give himself up. And it's just not true. It's just not true. So I was going to play that, but you know what? My mouse is not even working at this point. But thankfully, my Surface Pro is touchscreen, so I don't need a mouse. But I'll skip that part of the video. But really, all he says was, you know, I dropped the knife, I picked it up, and I was gonna give myself up after I put the knife in the car. That I'm paraphrasing what he said, but that was the gist of what he was saying. So in this article, he titled "God, I'm Coming," Jacob Blake speaks out about his being shot by Kenosha police officers. Now, of course, this article is going to, you know, mimic the sentiments of the other one where he is the victim. Jacob Blake is speaking out about being shot 7 times by a Kenosha police officer last summer and the DA's decision not to file any charges in the case. The reason why there were no charges filed in the case is because the officers are innocent. The officers are innocent. The officer is innocent. He should not be sued. He should not be reprimanded. At the end of the day, he did his job. It was Jacob Blake's fault that he got shot. All right, so Michelle Jackson says, how much will the families of those who got killed during BLM protests receive? Innocent people lost their life over stupidity, yet criminals are being praised more and more and get more coverage. I mean, to answer your question, 0. Okay, the people who died, the people's whose businesses got burned down. I mean, the insurance is going to have to cover that. But at the end of the day, even if the insurance reimburses the businesses that got burned down during the BLM protests, that still takes time. I can't operate my business while it's being rebuilt. So Michelle Jackson, I feel you. At the end of the day, the people in the cities are losing because of rioting. And it just doesn't make sense. The people that are the most vulnerable are the people who are going to lose the most. Buzzkill, wide receiver, what's up, my dude? I couldn't take the lockdown and these radical racist things they were preaching on the news media. My God. And that's the thing. All they're doing is, you know, me and my wife will joke around. We'll watch the news, and we get tired of watching it. And it's just like normal news cycle. Like, oh, the weather, oh, COVID-19 restrictions, oh, a cat's in the tree, racism. COVID-19 restrictions, the weather, cat in the tree, oh, racism. And it's just too much. Uber to your mom's house, what's up, my man? And it's on and on and on. But that's why I say, all right, everybody that just jumped in, Buzzkill, wide receiver. I don't know if this is your first live stream. All right, but had some technical difficulties that I was able to conquer. But usually I got my Sony camera working out. But today I'm letting the front facing laptop camera go, so that's why it's not in HD. But anyways, I know you guys don't care. I want to show you guys this for the people who just jumped in, because right now I'm gonna push forward. I'm gonna retouch this, and then I'm gonna just go ahead and push forward. But at the end of the day, this is the crazy part, that people who are resisting arrest, people who are having gosh, I forgot the name of it. Anyways, he had it just sounded like Joe Biden right there. People who had third-degree sexual assault, a warrant, it's a warrant. All right, so a warrant. He had a warrant out for his arrest, resisting cops, and he had a weapon at the scene. These are the type of people who are going to be cashed out. Now, before we move on, I want everybody to know that this man that's representing him, Ben Crump, got George Floyd a $27 million civil settlement. And what they're doing, all right, reading at this top paragraph, Kenosha police officer Rustin Shensky is the sole defendant named in the lawsuit. All right, what they're saying is they're seeking an unspecific compensation. Now, that is why I am saying that everybody wants to talk about white privilege and this and that. At the end of the day, there is privilege for all Americans, because in what other country can a person who's resisting arrest have a weapon at the scene and have a warrant out for his arrest be set up to make millions of dollars? All right. Uber to your mom's house. Hey, yo, dog, do a dance video for that 1K sub goal. Like some Jabberwockies. That is throwback, bro. Jabberwockies was a long time ago type of dance. Then toast up with a cold one for the live party and get lit. My man is wilding out. No dance moves here. I'll dance a little salsa with my wife, even though she says I have stiff hips. So I might break the stereotype, because all Hispanic people are supposed to know how to dance salsa and speak Spanish. I don't do either. Gosh, I let down a lot of people, but it is what it is. So what I want to show you guys is moving on from Jacob Blake, because at the end of the day, he is a person who should not receive any money. He probably is going to receive some money, and it's only because the political pull in this country and the polarization of the incident has him leveraged to cash out on this. He's the right skin tone. The cop is the wrong skin tone. And in comes Ben Crump. Millions of dollars are going to follow. So it's a shame, but hey, you know what? We live in a highly litigious country. You basically could sue for anything. You could sue, you looked at me wrong. It's discrimination. Or you cut me off in traffic. Discrimination. And that's where we're at. But I want to show you guys this next story, and this will be the last story of the live stream tonight. And like I said, I've had some technical difficulties, but you know what? We're gonna work through it. We're gonna get through it, and we are definitely going to continue to talk about the things that we need to talk about. Buzzkill says, I agree. He had a knife. He almost got himself killed. Yes, he had a knife. I mean, at the end of the day, if you got a knife at the scene, what do you expect to happen, bro? What do you expect to happen? When a police officer says stop, you should stop. All right, just a quick aside real quick. I want to pause and shout out or just let you guys know that I currently have a Patreon set up. So if you're looking to help the channel grow, money will be used for better equipment, obviously. I told Whispering Wind this in the beginning of the live stream. I see why people like the media. This is a full production. You need a producer. you need a tech team, you need a sound team, you need a visual team. You know, the media is a holistic thing. So, you know, to help me out as I'm growing from a small channel to a medium-sized channel to a bigger one, make sure you guys, if you're able, if you like the content that I deliver, you know, consider Patreon. I'm also on PayPal and Cash App. Those links are in my other my other videos descriptions. So go ahead and check those out. But I want to transition to the last story of tonight, which is Newsweek is actually giving a true fact check. All right. Is Oakland program excluding white families living in poverty from $500 checks? The answer is yes. You'll see at the end of this article, they conclude yes. But just real quick, here is part of the problem. These people want to distribute wealth and power based on skin tone. All right. That is why when these people get in charge, they start advocating for racial policies. That is why, as we talked about earlier, people like Ibram X. Kendi and Robin DiAngelo, their teachings, which is critical race theory, their teachings are being pushed all throughout corporate America, all throughout education. It's even in the church, because they're trying to indoctrinate people that all white people are bad and everybody else is a victim. Now, this is what I call the tribalism of race. The tribalism of race is when a person looks at life through the lens of race, and what they see is color first. When they look at a person, they see color, and then they say in their head, and this is not even me assuming, this is like what they do. This is what they believe. They believe white is privileged, black and brown is not. They think white is the oppressor, black and brown is the oppressed. That's just what they believe. All right. And the people that have funded this program right here believe the same exact thing. All right. Oakland program excluding white families living in poverty from $500 checks. All right, Trey Milton, hello. How do you do? Once again, I catch the truth at it as it was getting drowned out in lies. Uber to your mom's house said, dog, if I cash app you, you're going to take a shot on your next live you're going to take a shot on your next live. This man, hell yeah, dog, weekend vibes. I do not take shots in my home. I would take shots out with my homies or a friend. All right, but I have a healthy understanding in my house, me and my wife, that we really don't bring liquor in the house, because that is just a life choice that we have chosen. I love whiskey. I'll say it like that. I'm not anti-drinking. I love whiskey. If I go to my dad's house and he has $150 whiskeys, and I mean 100 proof, 60% alcohol. These things are top shelf whiskeys. All right. So I will take a shot, not on live, but I'll take a shot with my dad, and I'll think about you while I'm doing it. Uber to your mom's house. Yes, sir. Pendleton whiskey. I haven't tried Pendleton. I need to try Pendleton, but much respect. Yes, sir. Duval in the house. Jacksonville. Michelle Jackson said ABL did a video of a guy who helps young boys. Yes. Oh my goodness. That is that. And then he went on that liberal commentary guy's talk show and basically schooled him on how you don't need the government. Like, we could do this. You know what? And the thing about that is, okay, we have to understand. Quick aside before we jump into the final topic of Oakland. Quick aside, because Michelle Jackson brought up a good thing. If you haven't seen the discussion between a young black conservative man, and he was on, I think his name is Roland. All right, it's on ABL's channel. He did this recently. I also watched it on Black Conservative Perspective, so you could check out both of those channels to see this, when we're done. But anyways, this young black conservative man was saying that, hey, we don't need the government. We can go get it on our own. And not only was he saying it, he was doing it. He was mentoring kids and showing them how to be auto mechanic technicians. He was showing them how to do things like change your own oil. He was showing them how to live. He even purchased, he said this out loud, he purchased a school, and he wants to educate the ones in his community in Albany, Georgia, to show them, hey, don't rely on anybody else. You got to go get it yourself. So what the other guy was saying, and I cannot remember his name at the moment, was, oh, you need government. So you're saying you don't need government, but this is what, when I say, because I agree with the young conservative guy, you don't need the government. All right, you don't need the government. And what I'm not saying is we don't need government at all. We have to realize that we need government to have nice roads. We need government to have some sort of education system that's public. All right, but at the end of the day, we don't need government to prosper once government has already set up a framework for society, and that framework is the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, federal laws, state laws, local laws. Like all of those things work together for us to be able to live. I want to show you guys, because I saw it. I'm gonna go to the home screen. We're not gonna watch the video, but just in case the people who haven't seen it, the first one that popped up right here. So Tatum is doing a video on it. You know, obviously Tatum is a strong conservative commentator, but Roland Martin, that's his name. Roland Martin got served by a 21-year-old conservative. I don't want to play his video on my stream, but you guys could definitely check out his stuff. I'm sure you guys are already subscribed to Tatum anyways. But anyway, so that guy, he got schooled, and he kept saying, oh, you can't do it without the government. You can't do it without the government. And the young man was simply saying, you don't have to wait on the government. Do it yourself. And Roland Martin kept saying, oh, so you think we don't need the government at all? No, that's not what we're saying. We need a government. All right. I am not an anti-government person. But at the end of the day, you know what we're saying is we don't need the government to give us handouts to succeed. We don't need that. We don't need that. We can get it on our own. So Roland Martin, he really missed, in my opinion, he completely missed the boy's point, the young man's point, not the boy. That is a young 21-year-old man who gets it. And the point is this: don't wait on the government, go get it yourself. Don't wait for a handout, go get it yourself. Don't whine about lack, go get it yourself. Don't whine about oppression, go get it yourself. Don't whine about whiteness, go get it yourself. All right. So that's what the boy, gosh, he's saying boy, that is what the man is saying. And even though he's a 21-year-old person, he's spitting facts. So thank you, Michelle Jackson, for bringing that up. That was a quick aside. I wasn't planning on talking about that. I wanted to do a video on that, but you know what? I have limited time. So I chose not to go over that. But here we go. Last topic of the night. All right, last topic of the night. Let me get this banner out the way. You know what? I'm honestly not trying to promote the Patreon that much. I just forgot to take it off. But anyways, Uber to your mom's house said, dog, he should have told Roland also on the interview to better get on the treadmill on a diet before them heart problems start popping off. Real facts. Yes, we all have to take care of our health. Trey Milton says there is a difference between freedom and lawlessness. Yes, and that difference is rooted in morals. So if one has an actual moral compass, then they're going to enjoy their freedoms, because at the end of the day, God wants us to be free, but that freedom doesn't mean do whatever you want. All right, because if you're just able to do whatever you want, you're going to end up in a lot of trouble. Sonia Scrapbook said Roland should have been commending him. Right? That's what I mean. Yes, he should have been saying, brother, you are doing a great job. You are leading our community. You are a pillar to that community. Where do I send my check? How much do you need? I got X amount of money ready to blow to help a young Black entrepreneur. What do I got to do? Instead, and I don't know, maybe he could have did all this, could have did all that off camera, because at the end of the day, Roland Martin he has an audience that he has to appeal to. It's a liberal audience, so he can't change up on he can't change up on live, because he's been preaching a certain agenda and a democratic philosophy for years. You know, he's not going to have the moment where Larry Elder was speaking to, I can't remember his name, Dave Rubin, and Dave Rubin had this epiphany like, whoa, you're right. Systemic racism is a conspiracy theory. Whiteness is a conspiracy theory. That's not what he said, but it hit him when Larry Elder smacked him with facts about policing and, you know, all of the so-called disparities. But anyways, without further ranting, thank you guys for sticking with me, because you guys are the realest supporters. Thank you so much. I want to go over this story, guys. All right, because this is what happens when critical race theory consumes your mind. These people are people that they look at life through the lens of race. How do you stop racism, they say? With more racism. If you read the book or watch any of his videos of Ibram X. Kendi, Robin DiAngelo, White Fragility, it is literally teaching you how to beat racism with more racism. So the book teaches you, and his teachings teach you, critical race theory teaches you how to be a racist and how to beat racism all at the same time. It's crazy, but that's what critical race theory teaches. So a new program of grants for low-income families funded by private donations is being rolled out in Oakland, California. All right, so key thing to remember as we go through this: private donations. All right, so if that's 100% true and the government's not involved, then you know what? My commentary on this can really only go so far, because who am I to tell private people where to spend their money? But also, you know what? I can have an opinion on this, because why? I could simply just keep it like this. Why are you only wanting to give money to Black and Indigenous people? Eligible individuals will receive $500 a month for at least 18 months in a guaranteed program designed to tackle poverty in the city. The initiative borrows ideas from similar universal basic income programs that provide a monthly payment. Only this will be means tested. While the program has support among the groups representing the low-income families, some on the social media have criticized it, arguing that the program will exclude low-income white families. All right, low-income white families. So as we see here are the facts. The initiative is privately funded program that will give low-income families of color $500 per month, and with no rules on how they spend it. According to the Oakland Resilient Families Program website, the following groups are eligible: Black, Indigenous, people of color, families. All right, now just sit with that. Wait, give me 1 second. Baby, I'm about to be done, all right? I know, I got 5 more minutes on the live stream, and then I'm gonna wrap up. I love you. See, that woman is ready to go to bed. All right, so according to the Oakland Resilient Families Program website, the following groups are eligible: Black, Indigenous, and people of color. I mean, so in and of itself right there, the people that are eligible are Black and Indigenous. Everybody else, if you are being affected by COVID-19, if you're being affected by any of these things in Oakland, we don't care about you. All right, the guidelines state that the term family is defined broadly to recognize that families come in all shapes and sizes. Low income is defined as at or below 50% of area median income, which works to about $59,000 per year. Half of the funding is reserved for very low income families, those earning below 138% of the federal poverty level, or about $30,000 per year. Payments will begin being administered to families this spring, and the goal is to have the entire program up and running by the summer. Some 600 families will receive $500 per month for 18 months unconditionally to use however they choose. They will have the option to participate in surveys and interviews, but are not required to. However, it is not designed to function as a universal basic income. Well, that's good. All right. And we all know what UBI, all right, universal basic income is just a far left democratic ideology that says everybody deserves this, even if you haven't worked for it. All right, we're going to take from them to give to you because you know what? It's the right thing to do. Who cares that all socialist systems run out of other people's money? We're just going to go ahead and do that. All right, so skipping down as I conclude, because my pregnant wife is waiting for me to wrap up this live stream. Uber to your mom's house. Uber to your mom's house says, "Ayo, dog, gotta listen to wifey." Yep, mine's be telling me bedtime. Yes, I know. I'm about to wrap it up. Trust me, because at the end of the day, I live with her and not anybody else. So you're right. I got to keep wifey happy. So with that in mind, all right, with wifey in mind and the obvious fact stated, Black and indigenous people of color are the people who are going to get this. All right, with low incomes and at least one child under 18, regardless of the documentation status. So it doesn't matter if you're an immigrant, you're going to get this. All right, so scrolling all the way down just to hit the conclusion, and to our surprise, the fact checkers have actually come to a correct conclusion. True, the program website, the website states that it's geared only to Black, indigenous, and people of color families in Oakland. So there you have it, guys. More race conscious giving, more anti-white thoughts. You know what? Who cares if white people need help in Oakland? This money is going for Black and indigenous people. If you're not that, oh well, you know what? So it is what it is. I want to just bring your attention real quick. I want to show you guys. Make sure I think this video is worthy of. I think this video is worthy of being shared. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up real quick. Let me pause it so it doesn't blast in your ears. All right, but I think this video is worthy of being shared. So I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a little shout out, because you know what? At the end of the day, a lot of people, unless you have a big following, a lot of people aren't going to watch your live streams, because you know what? A lot of people aren't going to sit down for 55 minutes and watch a live stream. So I made a more digestible video before I started this live stream about the main topic of tonight, which was Jacob Blake. So make sure you guys, make sure you check this video out. Hit the like button, share this video on your platforms, because I'm currently not on Facebook. I barely use Twitter. When I started YouTube, I was completely off of social media because I just couldn't be on it. So when I started YouTube, I came from nothing. And you know what? I'm still at pretty much nothing. But at the end of the day, I'm doing this because I want my voice to be heard. I want to speak against the false cultural narratives that are anti-white. So I say this sometimes. I say this sometimes in my vlogs as I drive to work. On this channel, we believe a few things. We believe, thank you to my man, Dr. Thomas Sowell, that racism isn't dead, but it is kept alive by race hustlers and other people who get a sense of superiority by denouncing others as racist. We believe that the conspiracy theory of systemic racism, as talked about by BLM and the Democratic Party, that systemic racism that they talk about is a conspiracy theory. We believe whiteness is a conspiracy theory. Those are a few things that we believe. So as you guys continue to grow with me, that's going to be the overall tone and message as we continue to speak to the cultural issues of today. But I am going to leave it right there because I have a wife to go tend to. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. I will see you good people on the next one. God bless.